What do you want? Not what do you think you should want, or what your friends would approve of. If every voice except yours went silent for an hour, what is it that you actually want? If you found that question hard to answer, you're not alone. You're also not free. Because the reason most people can't answer it is that their attention has been so thoroughly captured by external structures that they no longer have a clear sense of where their own desires end and where the noise of the world begins. By the end of this video, I'll show you exactly what those structures are and why they're almost impossible to escape in this current time, and what to do right now if you want to start shifting the reality you experience back towards something you actually choose. But first, picture this. Imagine you're stood in a vast field at night time, and the field is full of bonfires. Each bonfire is being kept alive by the people gathered around it, throwing in branches, arguing about it, pouring their attention into it. Some of the bonfires are burning fiercely because thousands of people are feeding them. Others are smaller and some are dying out. None of these fires would exist without the people feeding them, and yet every person feeding a fire feels certain that their fire is the most important thing in the field. Now imagine you've been tied to one of these bonfires for years, throwing in branches and never asking why. That is exactly what Vadim Zeland was describing when he wrote about pendulums. Once you understand them, the way you experience reality changes. So the term quantum manifestation gets thrown around a lot, as though it's something mystical. But the idea itself is not mystical at all. Stripped away, the underlying claim is simple enough. Every possible version of your life already exists. Not as a fantasy or potential, but as actual structured possibilities, sitting in what Zeland called the variation space, the field of all available realities. You don't create the version you want, you select it and then tune into it. The version of your life that you experience is the one your attention, your assumptions, and your inner state is currently aligned with. This is closer to how radio works than how creation works. A radio doesn't create the broadcast is already there. The radio simply tunes into one frequency rather than another, and the listener experiences whichever station the dial happens to be set to. Your consciousness works the same way. The reality you experience isn't created by you from scratch. It's being selected from an infinite range of available realities, and the selection happens largely below your awareness, based on what you're tuned into. The implications of this is that if your attention is constantly tuned to outrage, fear, scarcity, or grievance, those are the realities you've selected, and those are the realities you walk through. Not because the universe is punishing you, but because you're tuned into that frequency. And nothing in the world is engineered more deliberately to keep you tuned into those frequencies than what Zeland called pendulums. And we'll come back to how to retune the dial shortly. So a pendulum is an energetic structure created by collective awareness. Now I know that sounds abstract, so let me make it concrete. When a large number of people focus their attention on the same thing, an ideology, a political movement, a news event, a feud, a cause, a fear, the collective energy of all that focused attention creates a structure that begins to behave as if it has its own life. Now the pendulum doesn't actually have any intelligence, but it acts like it does because there's one consistent behavior. It needs more attention to keep existing, and it will pull in whatever it can to feed itself. The way pendulums feed is by provoking reaction. They don't care what kind of reaction. Outrage, fear, devotion. They all feed it. Anything that focuses your attention and your emotional energy on the pendulum will strengthen it. A person who agrees passionately with a political pendulum and a person that passionately opposes are doing exactly the same thing, feeding the structure with their attention. This is why nothing about the current moment in geopolitics, social media or news cycles makes any sense if you're trying to understand it through the frame of ordinary cause and effect. The pendulums are everywhere now, and they're stronger than at any point in human history. Because attention has never been so easy to capture, scale and sustain, a single news story can hijack the emotional state of hundreds of millions of people within hours. The pendulum has become an industrial-scale structure operating across every channel you consume, and the people running these channels are not unaware of this. The systems are deliberately optimized to provoke reaction, because reaction is the fuel. Engagement metrics, outrage cycles, the relentless polarization, none of it is accidental. It's pendulums being deliberately farmed. So here's the part that connects back to manifestation directly. If you're constantly being pulled into pendulums, then you're tuned into their frequencies, which means the reality you select from the variation space is the one those pendulums occupy. The reality of constant conflict, urgency, and threat. Now, no amount of manifestation work will bring you what you want when your attention is focused on those frequencies. You can affirm and visualize as much as you like. The dial of your consciousness is still turned to the channel you spend most of your time tuned to, and the channel you spend most of your time tuned to is whatever pendulum you've been feeding, whether you realize it or not. This is why the question, what do you want, is so much harder to answer than it should be. Because for most of us, our inner life is not actually ours anymore. It's composed of pendulum frequencies we've been absorbing for years. Our wants are pendulum wants. Our fears are pendulum fears. Our sense of what is important. All of it has been shaped by structures we never consciously chose to participate in. And the reason your reality isn't shifting is you haven't yet noticed what dial you're tuned into. So the signs that you're caught in a pendulum are consistent once you know what to look for. And the first sign is reactivity. If something produces an immediate emotional response in you that's disproportionate to your actual life, you're being fed on. The reaction is the giveaway. Genuine attention to your own life rarely produces that quality of urgency. So the second sign is the sense of needing to take a side. Pendulums always polarize. They split everything into two camps and demand that you commit to one. Anything that demands your allegiance before allowing you to think is almost certainly a pendulum. So the third sign is the inability to disengage. If you tried to step away from a topic, a platform, or a conversation and found yourself unable to, pull back in despite knowing it's not serving you, that's a pendulum holding on to its food source. And the fourth and final sign is your internal noise. After you engage with a pendulum, your inner world is louder, more agitated and more fragmented. Genuine inputs leave you clearer. Pendulums leave you scattered. If any of those signs are present, then you've located one. The next question is what to do about it. For me, the change came when I realized how much of my inner world was being authored by structures that I never consented to participate in. And the most powerful way for dealing with pendulums is this. You don't fight them, you don't argue them, and you don't try to convince other people to leave them. You simply withdraw your attention. If you want to start working with this, try one practice. For the next 24 hours, notice every time you feel pulled into something. A story, a conversation, a piece of content, a sudden urge of irritation about something far away from your actual life. Don't do anything about it. Just notice the hook engaging and notice what the pendulum is trying to feed on. And that awareness alone begins to change things. Then return to the question, what do you want? Thank you for being here. As always, I look forward to being with you on the next video. Bye for now.